What's up, everybody? It's me. It's Alexis Maurice. And yes, I am still here. Yes, Hollywood Happenings is still here. So with that being said, you already know what time it is. So go ahead and pour yourself a glass of wine, honey, because we got a lot to talk about tonight. I am drinking on some white Ziv, Behringer white Ziv. So pour your glass of wine. Pull up a chair, pull on some lipstick, honey, because we got a lot to talk about tonight. And yes, I'm by myself. I'm flying solo, dolo, YOLO, okay? So no co-host tonight. It's just me, myself, and my glass of wine, and you, and your glass of wine, and your lipstick, and your chair, because bitches, we about to go all the way in. So while I take my first sip, and you take your first sip, go ahead and like this video, share it on, like this video on YouTube, share it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, all of that stuff, because I'm trying to come up. I got star power. I know I got star power. I just need the world to know that I got star power so we can take over this bitch. All right? Listen, all I got to say is God is definitely good. Like, all jokes aside, you know, I may curse, I may, you know, drink, I may partake in some other stuff or whatever that may not necessarily be Christ-like, but I know the Lord Jesus, and I know when God is at work. And LamarOdom, child, you got up. Like, seriously, you got up. You need to look up, hey, and tell the Lord, thank you, Lord. Look up and tell the Lord, thank you. All of y'all, do it right now. Look up and tell the Lord, thank you. Thank you, Lord. Like, seriously, all jokes aside, you got up. A lot of people don't get the opportunity to wake up with a second chance at life. And all I can say is I really hope that you make the best of this second opportunity that you've been given. So for those of you who don't know, LamarOdom was found in a brothel last week around a whole bunch of hoes and prostitutes. And apparently he overdosed on some type of male enhancement stimulant or whatever the case may be. You know what he was doing. You know what, child, y'all know what goes on in the whorehouse. Oh, well, and this is an upscale. Brothel is an upscale. You know, it's an upstanding, you know, whorehouse. But, like, you know, he overdosed or whatever the case may be. Reports are now saying that he had cocaine in his system. Lamar, whatever you do, that's your business. Like, there's a lot of people out there who partake in a lot of recreational drugs or whatever. You know, if it's a little weed, if it's a little lean, if it's a little, if it's an X pill, if it's a little cocaine, little white girl, little, you know, little nose candy that you partake in, that's your business. Okay, so I'm not judging. I'm not judging at all. But, bitch, you got up. Like, you seriously got up. And a lot of people don't get the opportunity. I can't say that enough. Like, when I first heard about this, I don't know Lamar from a can of paint. Never seen him. Never went to a game. Nothing like that. Only reason I know Lamar is because he was on the Kardashians. Quiet as it's kept, I don't watch a lot of sports like that. So I wasn't checking for the Lakers. I wasn't checking for none of them teams that he was on. I ain't know who he was up until he was on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And you know, I don't like them girls like that either. But I like Chloe. You know, I fucks with Chloe. I like her. But, you know, I really liked their love. You know, Chloe seemed kind of like the most genuine one out of that whole bunch. So, you know, I was rooting for their marriage. Their marriage didn't make it or whatever. Lamar's been in and out the news. You know, he hasn't been able to play basketball, and his marriage, you know, fell to pieces and things of that particular nature. I don't like to see that kind of stuff. But anywho, Lamar, you got up. Like, you seriously got up. And when you got up, Chloe was there by your side. And, you know, I don't know. I'm overwhelmed. I sincerely prayed, like, went down on my knees and I prayed for this dude. Like, I sent a timber up to the Lord. Like, Lord, please watch over him. Please bring him out. You know, if anybody can do anything, you can. And I'm a firm believer that you can. And you did exactly what we all who are true believers know that you can and that you will and that you did do. You brought him out of this. My only ask now, Lamar, is that you make the best of this. Now, Chloe and him have decided to call their divorce off. Good move, in my personal opinion. I'm hoping that they can get through it. I am a little concerned because he's going back to a familiar place and maybe he needs to kind of be away from a lot of people right now. But it's good to also have that support system when you're going through something. But, you know, at the same time, she could be the catalyst behind why he did some of the things that he did. At the end of the day, he's an addict, so an addict is going to do whatever they want to do. It's just so much or whatever. But everything happens for a reason. And we don't know why God allowed these things to happen the way that they are happening. Did God put the cocaine up to his nose or put the little male enhancement drug down his throat? I don't know, or whatever the case may be, but God knows all, he sees all, and he hears all, and he's the dude, you know, he do everything, or whatever the case may be. So maybe he allowed these things to happen so that certain things can happen. Maybe they need to get back together. I don't know. I'm excited about it, but I'm going to continue to pray for him. We all need to continue to pray for Lamar because he's one of our black brothers, or whatever the case may be. Don't kick him down. Don't kick him while he's down, or anything in that particular nature. I know he's been going in for some procedures. There's some rumors that, you know, his kidney is failing and things of that particular nature, but I really hope and sincerely pray and will continue to pray that dude makes it through this. And if it's meant, you know, if it's God's will for them to get back together from a marriage perspective, then so be it. You know, so, you know, Lamar, keep your head up, man. We praying for you. There's some of us out there who are sincerely praying for you. Now, somebody else that we need to pray for, child, Bill Cosby. And I'm going to take me a sip of this wine on that. Bill, honey, Mr. Cosby, you got a lot of shit going on right now. I was one who really thought that this stuff was going to eventually just die down. But it's like Chucky and Jason or whatever and Freddy. The bitch just don't die. Like, you can't kill it. You can feed it poison. You can stab it in the eye. You can blow it up. Child, you can call ISIS on it. The scandal just won't die. Like, this stuff, this sex allegation with drugs, mixed with drugs, and you allegedly raping these women who knowingly went in your hotel room knowing what was up, or whatever the case may be, at the Playboy Mansion. Everybody know what the hell goes down at the Playboy Mansion. Hell, I ain't been there before, but I know what goes down at the Playboy Mansion. Just like the hell you know what goes on at a brothel. Like, you be knowing. Y'all know. You knew. Like, seriously. You knew what was going on. All of these women, you know, making all of these allegations of Bill Cosby. This is my thing. And I switch. One moment, I think he did it, you know. And then the next moment, I say he didn't do it. These girls, and I can't say that their motive is money, because some of them have gone on to be successful. And maybe it's just on the merit of, I'm coming out to say that I am a woman who was raped by Bill Cosby. I don't know what their intentions are. You know, women support them in saying that, you know, it takes a lot of courage to just come up, you know, and say that. But you knew what you was getting yourself into. Some of y'all did, or whatever. I don't think Bill just set out and preyed on you women. Or whatever. Like I said, we be knowing what be going on down to the whole houses. We be knowing what be going on down with Hugh Hefner and all of them things. But Ebony magazine released a cover which has a cast photo of the Cosby Show. And I think it's the first season or whatever. And then there's a big shattered thing. A big shattered, you know how you drop a picture frame and it shatters? Well, bam! The stamp is right here on Bill Cosby's head. And, you know, Ebony magazine, you know, is claiming that they're starting the conversation, or they're opening up the dialogue. It has Bill Cosby's actions or behavior outside of the show, prior to the show, if I'm not mistaken, forever tarnished the Huxtable or the Cosby Show. Quiet as kept, I didn't know people still read Ebony magazine, because I know I don't. That subscription died a long time ago. But, you know, it's an African-American magazine that caters to the African-American community. And a lot of people are upset because they feel that Ebony should not have been the one to start this conversation. But according to Ebony's, you know, people, you know, they got people who talk to us people saying that, you know, Ebony magazine has a history of having or starting this type of dialogue. Never knew that. But anywho, I digress. But, you know, has Bill Cosby's actions tarnished the legacy and the history of the Cosby Show? And we say that because all of the major TV networks have pulled the Cosby Show. So the residuals, you know, that the cast members were making off of the show, they don't exist anymore because everyone has taken a stand against Bill Cosby and removed it. For me, whatever Bill Cosby is going through right now, which are still considered allegations, it's not tarnishing the brand for me. Now, for a lot of people, a lot of you can't separate Bill Cosby from the Cosby Show / the Huxtables. It's fiction. It's fiction, people. It's not real life or whatever. Although it has influenced and motivated and inspired a lot of us to go be doctors and lawyers and to have, you know, that household with the 5 kids and, you know, having that cohesiveness, the beauty of family. It's inspired a lot of us to do this, but let's look around. There are not a lot of families together out there anymore. There are not a lot of moms and dads in the homes. There are not a lot of families with 5 kids all living in the same house with the same mama and the same daddy. And I'm not knocking it or whatever the case may be, but that's something that I will forever hold on to. What Bill Cosby is going through it's not changed my perception of the fictional work that he did. Make believe fictional. He played a character. And I'm able to separate the two. I don't know what the big deal is. Like, seriously, that show will forever be funny to me. I will always laugh. My favorite episode is when they did the little anniversary and they were on, all of them were on the staircase line of night and day, you know, baby. You remember that? You remember that episode? That's like my favorite episode of the Cosby Show. But Bill Cosby, you got a lot going on or whatever. Me personally, am I upset that Ebony magazine did the cover? No. When I first saw it, I was like, ooh, gosh, this is definitely going to generate a lot of buzz. Like, the girls are going to be talking, honey. They're going to be crossing their legs with their glass of wine talking about this episode. I mean, not this episode, child. Talking about this Bill Cosby foolishness on this Ebony magazine. For me, you know, it doesn't bother me or whatever the case may be. I can't wait to get a copy of the magazine so I can see what it was, you know, what they're talking about and what their intentions were with it. But from what the people over at Ebony are saying, it wasn't intended to bash Bill Cosby, but it's raising some concern. It's raising eyebrows. Is this really going to impact them? I know I would be pissed off if I was Rudy or Denise or Claire or Malcolm Jamal Warner or Raven-Symoné and all them people, child. I was getting this consistent check every month or however month, you know, however when they pay out those residuals. I would have been a little upset too. Like, damn, you know, that was my monthly check. That was my Social Security, child, or whatever, you know. But it's gone now. I don't know. We would have to see how this continues to develop. A lot of people also feel that stations like BET and Centric should pick up the Cosby Show. And I can't say that I don't necessarily agree with. I can't say that I don't agree with this. I think these are times where we have to stick together. And especially since nothing has been proven true when it comes to Mr. Cosby, you know, let the man live or whatever until he's proven guilty. Mr. Cosby, right now, I don't know how I feel. Like I said, I go back and forth. One minute I say you did it. The other minute I say you didn't do it. You just have to be mindful of how you treat people or whatever the case may be, because a lot of people, especially black men, aren't necessarily coming to your defense in the industry. When I say in the industry, I mean other entertainers, because of the fact of how you used to down them and, you know, say things about them and things of that particular nature. Ooh, speaking of which, EddieMurphy. So, you know, there was allegedly some beef between Bill Cosby and EddieMurphy years ago because Mr. Cosby called up Eddie and stated that, you know, you need to stop all that cursing and things of that particular nature in your stand-up kits. Well, Eddie recently accepted the Mark Twain American Humor Award or something of that particular nature in the Kennedy Center or whatever. And while he was up, he brought up Bill Cosby's name. Now, mind you, earlier this year, Saturday Night Live celebrated their, I think, 40th anniversary. Or they celebrated their anniversary. And they were bringing back all of their big stars or whatever the case may be for the show. And they wanted EddieMurphy to do a Bill Cosby impersonation because he does it so damn well. But Eddie was like, nah, player. Nah, I ain't doing it. Let me just go up here and say what I got to say and let me get on about my business. But Eddie decided to do a little Cosby impersonation while he was accepting the award, an award that Bill Cosby got just a couple of years prior to. Or whatever. He was like, have y'all taken this award back from Bill Cosby? Because, a lot of people are requesting that Bill Cosby give his shit back. Like, who does... I'm not going to say who does that, because people do request that you give them their stuff back. But it's just like, you gave me this award back then. Don't try to... I don't know. I just don't believe in snatching people's accolades. Once a person has an accolade, you just let them have that particular accolade. Or whatever. Bill Cosby's going through enough now in the court of public opinion and public jury. But you got to go see it. Go to my Facebook page and you can actually see the clip of EddieMurphy impersonating Bill Cosby. Was like, I want to talk to all the people, who want to take my damn award. Mr. Jello Pudding himself. It was funny as hell or whatever. But, and when you think about it, he really didn't bash Bill Cosby. He just did a little light impersonation. EddieMurphy, let all y'all bitches know, I impersonate or I do stand up when the hell I feel like it and when I want to. And this was a perfect opportunity for me to do just that. So, Mr. Cosby, get it together or whatever. Come out and let everybody know what had happened. Speaking of somebody else on the Cosby Show, did y'all see how Ann Coulter shut Raven-Symoné ass down on The View last week? I think it was last Thursday or last Friday. Child, Ann was on there backing Donald Trump or whatever, saying how she felt Donald Trump is going to be the next president and why he should be the president. And she was defending her views and things of that nature. So Raven-Symoné thought that she was going to shine on Ann, child. My mother always taught me, if you can't say nothing nice, then don't say nothing at all. But why do you feel that you have to mudsling and bash people and blah, 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 blah? And child, Ann sat up, straight up, and she looked over at Raven-Symoné, and she was like, well, I'm talking about the political process. You're talking about people's names and not hiring people because of their names. I mean, you can't talk. And the whole table just got quiet. And I was on the other side of the TV like, Raven, pick up your face from all on that table. Matter of fact, child, your face fell out on the ground. And she shamed the hell out of you. Like, you couldn't even say that. You tried to say something, but that's not what... Never mind. And girl, you couldn't say nothing else. And made you look really, really, really stupid. And I will probably suspect that going forward, you're going to be a lot mindful of the shit that comes out of your mouth. Now, I'm not saying that you're neither right or wrong how you felt when you said about the names and stuff, because I also believe that people, and it's not that I believe, I know for a fact that people discriminate against people because of their names. So I am one who believes that we as a race, we have to be a little bit more mindful of the names that we name our children or whatever the case may be, because we still live in a racist society. These days, it's just a little bit more, it's low key, you know, something than what it was before. But, you know, Raven, girl, I don't know what to say. And I don't know if that producer, you know, if the execs over at The View or NBC, ABC, if they've told you not to say anything else, or I don't know if your publicist, I don't know if people have told you not to say anything else on the topic, but girl, you better speak up or whatever. You pay them. You know, they don't pay you, you pay them. So if you do run off at the mouth and have some diarrhea, your people need to be there to fix it. Okay? That's what they're there for. That's what you pay them the big bucks for. But girl, why you let Ann shame your ass like that on national TV and you couldn't say anything? Even Michelle tried to jump in and say a little something, but girl, Ann made you look really, really, really stupid on national TV. That's all I got to say about that whole situation. So Raven, girl, come on, do better. You know, a lot of black people just, they don't have faith in you no more. You was America's sweetheart, and you still are a sweetheart in my eyes, girl. You really are. You just have viewpoints that are different from everybody else, and we have to stop knocking people for having a different viewpoint. Just because they don't agree with all of Black America doesn't mean that they're bad people, or that doesn't mean that they're a sellout to the race or whatever the case may be. Now, Raven, I wasn't rocking with you with this whole I don't believe in labels and stuff like that. Girl, at the end of the day, you black, okay? You're African American, you're black. You are whatever the people in America give us the name. That's what you are. So don't forget that. And I know you haven't forget that, but you haven't forgotten that, but girl, you black, and just remember that, okay? Now, let's talk about one of Black America's elite, one of the most prestigious individuals in the Black American community. Child, Miss Oprah. Oprah Winfrey. Yes, girl, you made headlines this week. Let me tell you what Oprah did. You know, this is some boss bitch type of shit, or whatever the case may be. And I'm not calling Oprah a bitch. I'm not doing that. But girl, Oprah made headlines this week with a multi-million-dollar investment / partnership. She decided to partner with Weight Watchers. So a lot of people, you know, Weight Watchers, a lot of people are saying Weight Watchers was on the down or whatever the case may be. They're not producing like they used. I think their sales were down 19%, which is true, but it's still a $1 billion company or whatever. But Lady O decided to invest in Weight Watchers. Okay, so when I say invest, she purchased 10% of the company, which equated or equals to about $43.2 million. Okay, so when people like me and you, when the regular people found out that Oprah invested in Weight Watchers, the price of their stock skyrocketed. Now, when I'm telling you skyrocketed, it skyrocketed. So Oprah's $43.2 million investment, child, in 2 days, Lamar got up, child, Oprah got up, honey, and she got up almost $70 million richer. That's right. In 2 days, Oprah's stock, her investment of $43.2 million soared to a profit of $110 million. Boss bitch. Boss move. Boss. That's what you call a boss. I grow fascinated with this woman by the minute, by the hour, by the day, by the week, of the month. Like, she is, like, seriously, Oprah, that's some boss move type stuff. And that's not even it. The company also gave her the opportunity to purchase an additional $3.5 million, 3.5 million shares, not at the price that the shares are worth now, but at the price that they closed last Friday, which was at $6.79. Oprah, congratulations. Thank you for being a blueprint for people like me who are aspiring to be media moguls and things of that particular nature. Like, that's unheard. I mean, it's not unheard of, but you invest $43 million and then 2 days later you walk away, or you can walk away with $110 million. Like, seriously, that's almost a $70 million profit. That's insane or whatever. And God is good. Like, intuition. Hats off to Oprah. So now, you know, there's an opportunity where she can make even more money because of the fact that the partnership, she hasn't really started anything yet or whatever. So think about how she's going to incorporate Weight Watchers into Belief and Own and Young Labanzant to Fix My Life and Super Soul Sunday and O Magazine. And people are like, Weight Watchers is about to get like a serious reboot. Like, it ain't even reboot 2.0. Like, this reboot of Weight Watchers is about to be some 10.10 type magnitude earthquake type shit. Category 5 earthquake, you know, insane stuff or whatever the case may be. But Oprah, the rich just keep getting richer. And she's doing it for a legitimate way. She's not doing these little backhanded stuff or whatever the case may be that we know of, child. But Oprah, congratulations, and I'll drink to that, honey. All right, and last but not least, let's talk about Wale. Honey child, honey boo-boo. You done gone over to the Breakfast Club and you done spilled all kind of teas, honey, or whatever. So Wale on Wednesday recently did an interview with the Breakfast Club, Charlamagne, Angela Yee, and what's the other little light-skinned guy named? DJ Envy, or whatever. Child, I forgot that. But he went over to the Breakfast Club, and, you know, he did a little Wednesday morning interview. He had a little bit of drink or whatever. One thing I didn't know about Wale is that he struggled with depression. So shout out, and this is crazy, shout out to all the people with depression. Not shout out to all the people with depression, but everyone who's battling depression, because this is a serious thing. I know some people who've seriously battled depression. Keep your head up or whatever. Hallelujah. But anywho, so that was an interesting fact. Something about him I did not know is that he battled with depression or whatever the case may be. But he also talked about MeekMill. And MeekMill making the decision to go against Drake. And basically Wale has said, what he has said was, he has said that Meek basically went to a gunfight with a pencil. And then he changed and said, no, he didn't even take a pencil. He took a piece of paper. And then he took that piece of paper and he tried to paper cut Drake to death. But while they was saying you can't go against somebody like Drake who has like Apple behind them. And when you sit down and you really think about, you know, Charlamagne and Charlamagne, you know, DJ Envy and Angela, they probably know more about hip hop and the radio industry more than I do. But while they kind of raised some valid concerns, he was like, Drake is Apple, okay? He's like the hip-hop connection to Apple. Next to Dr. Dre, who sold beats over to Apple. Like, he went to Apple and said, you know, I want to be the face of Apple. And that's basically what it was. So you can't, while it was saying, you can't go to bat with someone who's on a different, you know, you're on two different levels or whatever the case may be. Now, granted, Meek got the support of all of the trap street niggas or whatever the case may be. Drake has Apple, all the white people, all the other races across the world in his pocket or whatever the case may be. He has exposure. They can boost push his shit or whatever the case. But he basically said his label mate, Meek, didn't come prepared for a fight with Drake. And I can't say that I thought that Wale was lying. Well, child, Meek, in his own way, he got all upset, all up in arms, and he had took it over to Instagram, and he had this to say about Wale. He said, niggas be doing all this to drop a new record, gossiping about they whole ass feelings and their personal life because they miserable and nobody don't rock with them. Really, stay away from me, fam. You not MMG no more. First of all, how can you make that type of declaration? You not in no executive position over there. But he goes on to say, this is why you can't get my number. You a hoe. Now, Wale had been saying that once everything, once the diss records had been coming out, he was trying to reach out to Meek, just to see, hey, bro, you are right. Now, if you guys remember, there was some beef between them earlier because Meek was upset because Wale didn't tweet his album or whatever. And I think Drake didn't tweet his album too. So he feels some type of way about this. So he takes it to social media. Who's the real bitch? But then then Meek goes on to say, you a dead cracked right now. You a dead cracked right now at Wale. And then he added him, child, the T. For nut. You dead cracked right now for a nut. I wasn't even mad at you, fam. You got some real issues with yourself and you jealous. Broke rapper. This is my last time, I think, addressing shit on the internet. But if I don't talk about it, one of you dudes gonna get hurt speaking my name like it's sweet. Y'all niggas gonna stop mentioning my name like it ain't no consequences. Well, if it's consequences mentioning your name, child, then you're all bark, no bite, because Drake ain't even mention your name, child, but everybody knew he was talking about. And girl, what happened? You released that weak ass diss track. I'm off this internet. I don't speak on MMG in interviews unless it's good. You a clown. We don't want to hear you no more, fam. Go jump off a roof like you've been trying to do, chump. Now that was low. Now if Wale struggles with depression and suicide attempts, and you know that about him, don't be putting that stuff out there. Now that's a real bitch ass move. You ain't had to do that. And my person, let me finish first. He not MMG. I'm making that call. He been trying to call and saying Rose owe us money. He don't owe me shit, and if he do, I'll get it later. Got that away. Go that away. Go that away is what he was basically saying. So, Meek, I don't listen to your music besides the ones that come on the radio. But what I see is that you have some real emotional issues and you like to express yourself on social media. You attempted to express yourself when you tried to do that diss track against Drake and it was an epic fail. Now, everybody else on your mate, Rick Ross would say, it was good music, it wasn't a real battle, whatever. For someone like me who is able to listen to Drake's music, who's able to listen to your music, who's able to decipher and understand and break down the lyrics, and someone who's able to see all of the stuff that happened, read all of the stuff that happened prior to, you're lost. And that's all I got to say on the situation. Now you're picking fun. Now you're making fun, or you're saying these things about Wale, who in return said, "I'm looking for a roof, basically to jump off of." Ha ha ha, too loudy. But like this whole thing, you picking fights with people is real whack. Like it's really, really whack or whatever. And when you go down and listen to the interview, I don't think Wale never really said anything hurtful towards you. Yeah, he said you kind of bought a pencil to a gunfight, which is, the truth is the truth, and your friends should be able to tell you the truth, whether they're telling you face to face or they're telling you, on the station. But hopefully he would have had that conversation with you prior to him going on the station, which according to Wale, he tried to do, but girl, he ain't got your number. So that's evidence that you guys y'all don't rock with each other like that. But Hats off to Rick Ross, because Rick Ross basically went out and put out the video. He said Wale tore up the stage the other night or whatever. MMG with family. The beef is squashed. Rich Forever 4 or some type of mixtape or something's going to be coming out soon or whatever. He alluded to that. So kudos to Rick Ross for stepping in and being the real boss and squashing this foolishness. I just didn't get all of that from the interview that Drake was, that Wale was trying to come for you. He was still speaking positive things about you. He just said that you didn't put your best foot forward. Now, Wale did kind of allude to the fact that he wasn't really satisfied or happy with MMG, with how they pushed his record and things in that particular. His last record we had signed through and narrated and things of that nature. He wasn't too happy about it or how it was received. Wale clearly does have some issues or whatever, because he feels that he's on a higher level than what mainstream America or hip hop or whatever is receiving him. I like Wale. I think he's dope, or whatever the case may be. But hopefully after this upcoming album that he's saying he's different, it sounds as if he's going to conform a little bit and do what needs to be done so he can be successful from that particular perspective. But I thought that whole beef situation was kind of interesting. Interview's really, really good though. You should watch it or whatever. But message to Meek, honey, get yourself together. Like, all jokes aside, you got, I guess, one of the most prettiest women in the game right now or whatever. Your album has sold like ridiculously. You going on tour from what I hear. Not necessarily an incredible source, but you are selling out venues. Like, you're doing your damn thing. Stop picking fights with people. Like Wale, label mates. Stop picking fights with people. Stop picking fights with Drake or whatever the case may be. Just get it together, girl, because you got your panties all in a bunch and you just continue to look stupid time and time again. But that's just my personal opinion. Who am I? I'm just a little man, little big man from Columbia, South Carolina by way of Atlanta, Georgia. But thank y'all so much for watching this episode of Hollywood Happenings. How did I do? I was by myself, my first time shooting a solo episode of Hollywood Happenings in like ages. So tell me, how did I do? Share this video, like I said, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all of that stuff, because I'm trying to come up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you next time.